I'm Charlie, founder of Kickerbout. We started Kickerbout in July last year, and yeah, we've started off as just a small group of people, family and friends, and people who we could get out to. And yeah, we've probably grown it to reach about 80 to 90 people locally over that time. So yeah, the main mission is just to get adults back playing football, really, whether they've fallen off because of work or because of personal reasons or anything like that. But yeah, that's the mission, just to get as many people back playing football with local people and enjoying it and having a really good experience at the same time. I have about 10 years coaching experience, coaching in community settings, in school settings and academy settings as well. So I've kind of worked at local foundations, worked at local clubs over a vast period of time. Throughout that time, you know, you're coaching most evenings, you're coaching a lot of weekends, and sometimes you can forget that, you know, you actually love playing the game yourself. So it was a situation whereby I came out of a role and yeah, kind of missed playing. I couldn't really see or find a community, a football community that was really well organised or really welcoming. So that was kind of a driver to start Kickerbout, really. Decided to start it up whilst working part-time, and now back to full-time work and just trying to grow Kickerbout alongside my full-time work, really.
Awesome. And in terms of those early days when you had started up and you started to get going, what was that like?
Yeah, a bit apprehensive at the start, because I think, you know, there's so many options out there, and, you know, why would someone come to something that's completely brand new? But I relied on my coaching networks and my family, friends, people who I'd worked with or played football with before, plus my family quite supportive, just to get that first session going. Once we had that first session going, you know, we captured it and then we could put it out on social media a bit more, put it in local groups and kind of advertise it in that way. And then once it kind of had that little bit of a buzz around it, suddenly people start filling your inbox saying, okay, I'd love to come down and join in and see what it's like. So yeah, the early days, you're thinking, am I going to get 10 people together? Am I not? So a little bit nervous in that sense. But once a few people come in and they start bringing friends and, you know, start talking positively about it, then things just got gradually a bit busier and a bit more interesting and enjoyable.
Brilliant. And yeah, we love to see it. And having gone to the session as well, it was a really good vibe and really good atmosphere. How do you make it feel so inclusive, and how have you been able to cultivate a bit of a community that makes Kickerbout feel so welcoming?
I think it kind of comes from my coaching experience. So I've coached anything from 3-year-olds who, you know, are crying their eyes out before they take their first football session to, you know, 18-year-olds who are potentially training for a professional contract, and all the players that are in between who are playing for other different reasons. So I think as a coach, you always look at people and kind of put yourselves in their shoes and think, okay, what's making them nervous? Are they coming in confident? Are they coming in nervous? And then, yeah, just greeting them and treating them more like a human before you treat them like a player, really. Try and make them feel comfortable, because if they feel comfortable, you know, they're going to enjoy themselves more, and they're also going to play better as well.
Yeah, I think that is super important. It really does make or break experiences. And having gone to one of your sessions, one of the things that was quite striking was the diversity of people that were there, especially in terms of ages. I've always jokingly said to my friends that as soon as I turn 40, if I get one mild injury, I'm just calling it quits. So in terms of being at the sessions, what do you feel is different from playing football from like your early 20s? How that contrasts to playing in your 30s and 40s onwards?
Yeah, I think, a lot of what you see on social media is results driven or performance driven. And I suppose that can kind of drive what kind of football communities people create. Whereas I think if you lead with inclusion, you can bring in more people who are in their 20s, 30s and 40s. I'd say, you know, people who are playing in their 20s are probably a bit more result driven, and it's more about the enjoyment of, you know, still playing the game a lot. Whereas 30s and 40s, you know, they're happy that they're still playing. They're really happy about that, but they also probably value the routine of it a bit more. You know, they value the social side just that little bit more. And if they can kind of successfully fit it into their week, each week or every other week or whatever it is, that feels like a real sense of accomplishment when you get, I think, as you go through adult life. Whereas in your 20s, you're not, you know, you can sometimes, it's a bit stereotypical, but you can have a bit more choice and a bit more okay, well, I'm going to do A, B, C, D, E. So yeah, I suppose the value of the session goes up through your 30s and 40s.
How old has been like the oldest player that's ever come to one of your sessions?
The oldest player we had was, how old was he? He was 67, I believe. Yeah. So he played walking football on a weekly basis, and then kind of saw us as a group, felt like he could come down, and yeah, he banged in a hat-trick. So he absolutely smashed it. Yeah, he held his own, and everyone was super respectful to him and, kind of inspired by what he was doing. So yeah, he had a couple of sessions with us, and yeah, he said it was a really positive experience. But yeah, we got players in 50s as well, quite a few in our 40s who, are just really appreciate that they have somewhere to come and play still and enjoy the game.
That is so dope. Cool. So in terms of a typical Kickerbout session, what can people expect if they're first timers?
Yeah, so first timers coming in, I think like we mentioned previously, it's good people, it's a very welcoming environment. The scoreline isn't really going to matter at the end of the day. There's moments where it does get a little bit competitive, but no one ultimately really cares about the score at the end. So yeah, it's a place to express yourself. People are going to encourage you, if it's been a long time or if your fitness is a little bit behind, which for most of us it is as we get older. There's people are going to be supportive and appreciative. So yeah, try to just break down the barriers of why people wouldn't, or what people would hesitate on before they come to a session. So yeah, it's good people, it's well organized, and yeah, it's a game that's not going to be flat out professional level. It's going to be at a speed which kind of suits where you're at.
Brilliant. Such a great thing that you're doing, so kudos to you.
Thank you.
The last question I'd like to ask, what are your future plans for Kickerbout in terms of expansion, growth, getting other people in?
Yeah, so I'd like to get other coaches in and, for them to kind of run their own football communities under the brand, really. That would really, fill me with excitement, and I'm motivated to do that, just to get into more locations with coaches who have a similar ethos and a similar kind of approach to, people carrying on playing football. So yeah, that's kind of the future plans, really. It's a business where I can't be everywhere at one time. So yeah, just to bring the right people in and for them to take ownership of having their own cohort of 90 people that can come in and play different games.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Charlie. Is there anything else that you'd like to say, or anything you'd like to plug?
No, just a massive shout out to the neighbourhood, I suppose. Massive help with promotions for Kickerbout. It's not easy being a coach, full-time business owner, and doing all the social media at the same time. So yeah, you've been a massive help in terms of just getting it out to more people who are looking for sports and looking for that kind of community building type businesses. So yeah, a big shout out to you. I'm